What is good, everyone? Since 2020, I've been asked to record a how-to guide on how to record, how to do some mixing and how to master. I'm not going to go too much into mixing and mastering because I feel like there are much better platforms that give you a lot better value for your money, and obviously this is just going to go out on YouTube. So this series is going to be how to set up a session, how to make a session look clean, how to set up a load of plugins, and basically how to get your stuff mix ready to send to a mix engineer so that you can, or even, this actually will help you with just demoing at home. So like, it doesn't even necessarily mean to go to a mix engineer, but it will help you sit, write some songs, have a tidy session, and work together as a band, or even if you're a solo artist, it's just good fun. So essentially, I'm going to dive straight in. The series is, I'm basically going to one-shot all of this as much as I can. I'm going to chop this up into tangible episodes that is going to be released on YouTube completely for free. I'm not going to charge for any of this. I don't care. I've been asked so many times about like how to do certain things that I'm just going to do this as like a little how-to guide. And if you guys like it and you want to know more, then we can talk and I will create some more videos. But here's the basics from start to finish. Let's jump straight in. So jumping straight in, I'm going to open Pro Tools. I'm using Pro Tools. Before you get butthurt, I don't care. So we're going to go, okay, song one or whatever we're going to call it. So interesting. A lot of bands will usually put a provocative term here, and it will be usually something really dumb. I tend to write mine as in like song 001, song 2, so on, because that always goes past 10, 20, and even 100 demos. So that's how I always tend to label my stuff. You don't have to do it like that, but I do recommend that you label it in a kind of system where it's like A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4, rather than just ass, or ass song, or song with random lamp on, or salt lamp because you've looked at a salt lamp, or I'm just thinking of random stuff in here, but usually it's ass. I usually get demos that they say stuff like ass. So just tend not to do that, because although it is hilarious at the time and you can't think of anything else, a simple 1, 2, 3, or 4 does kind of work and suffice. But anyway, I'm going to go just straight to here, and I'm going to go, that wasn't English. I'm going to go straight to location. I'm going to choose where I'm going to save it. So this is a big thing actually. So let me go to, show and finder. New folder, right? Demoing. This is straight away tip number 1. Create a folder where all your demos are going to go, right? And then just click open, and we're going to start and create it in there. Now, the reason I said this is such a big situation and such a big issue is because there's so many times that you'll record and you'll maybe need like a sound bite or something, and you'll click on your downloads and there'll be all of this absolute rubbish in here. You'll use one of the sound bites in this download section. You'll then go to drag it into your session. You'll delete your downloads without even realizing. You'll come back to your session and the audio file will be missing from your session. So make sure when you go to, obviously I'm going to go to my external hard drive here and I'm going to go to demoing. Song 1 is there, but I'm also going to click here and create a little thing that is literally going to be called stems, right? And then any sound files you have inside stems, you also want to go to song 1, right? Just trust me with this. It will help you so much further down the line. Any audio files you get, any sound effects, anything like that, goes into that folder. Rant over. First thing I'm going to do is go up to the top here, click track and new. Actually, let's go back to this, right? And just explain this a minute. I always click grid for a start, and you'll see that in a minute. A few things about Pro Tools as well. You've got your multi-tool up here. You've got obviously your grid layout here. Here is where you can change all your different time signatures. I kind of stay with like a 16th note for editing purposes. You can right click on like empty space somewhere. So if yours up here looks different to mine, you can right click and then you can change all of these different here. If you want to screenshot that, I always go expanded transport. It gives you a lot more times. It gives you pre-roll, post-roll, all that sort of thing, which I can go into later if you do want to know. But this is essentially how I set up my session. And again, making sure I'm on grid, and then make sure as well these 3 are clicked and this one here. This is to do with a tabbing feature. So if you're ever editing drums, trust me, just make sure that stuff is done. You'll thank me later. So first thing obviously we want to do is, personally, I go up to track new, then make sure they're mono tracks, audio track, samples, audio is fine, and then I click 5. The next thing I do is I click plus, which will give me a second drop down here to add more channels. I'll go stereo. At this point, I'll go instrument track, create. Now, that's my basic layout I have so far. Then what I will do is audio track 1 is going to be guitar left. Audio track 2 is going to be guitar right. Again, labeling things correctly. Audio track 3 is then going to be in capitals, tracking, so I can see it distinctively. And on Pro Tools, you can double click this blue bit, change the color if you really want. Then you can make sure you change it to whatever input you want for tracking. So for me, I've got my guitar plugged into my Focusrite, so it'll be input 1, and then that is my tracking session. I usually put that below these two because essentially when I've tracked something here, I'm going to then drag it up, as you'll see later on. Guitar right, I then pan right. Guitar left, I then pan left. Sounds pretty self-explanatory. I then leave these two for if I'm tracking something, I just need to get them out of the way for the moment, or if I track a lead line, I just need to put it somewhere. So I leave that kind of for like a workflow, kind of like maneuverability and just speed, basically. I change inst 1 to drums. And then from here, I personally will use for my demoing at the moment, at this time, it always changes, has done over the years, but I will go to contacts, and I will go to libraries, which should come up for you standard, and I use CounterKit. This, in my opinion, I can drag and drop, is the best sounding kit there is when it comes to just demoing. Like if you literally want, it's mix ready, I don't need to do anything else to this kit. Literally, I don't think you're going to be able to hear it from your end, but I actually can't hear it there as well. Why is that happening? Okay, I don't know, but actually, that's a good thing. I can't hear my audio. Why can't I hear my audio? We're going to go to setup, playback engine, and double check that you've got the correct thing set up. So I've obviously got an 18i, 20 there. Click yes, that's all good. Click OK. Your session will close down and reopen. I've also got something called Sound Source, which is really good. So again, if you've got Pro Tools, Sound Source is really good if you need to use like Bluetooth headphones whilst on the go with like a MacBook. So I've got a MacBook Pro here, and essentially to use my AirPods, I can't just go straight through Pro Tools. I have to use something called Sound Source. So I downloaded that, and then just here I would usually click my Apple AirPods. But at the moment it says Scarlett. For some reason is it still going to give me nothing? If that's happening, it's because I probably need to reset my Focusrite. Anyway, essentially that's a tiny bit of problem or troubleshooting. If you need any more help with troubleshooting stuff, that would usually work. I'm not going to go into it because we're on a video. I'm trying to show you a load of different stuff. But anyway, best sounding kit when it comes to demoing, CounterKit. So that's all set up now. Next thing then I do is I'll go to track, go create click track. Then from click track, I personally will click 2, and then it will open this up. This is your click track. From here, I can then change to what I want. Again, personally, go to blocks, smooth stick accent, and then blocks, smooth stick. If you don't like the higher note pitch on the first click, then you want to change that accent to just standard smooth stick, and then every single click will be the same pitch. You won't get that like accented one on the first. I personally, on the first click, like having it a tiny bit louder as well. Just find it helps when it comes to drumming. And then minimize this bit a little bit so it's tiny. Don't need to see that anymore. And I also hold down on Mac, hold down on Command, and click S. Because essentially, I don't want it to be soloed all the time, no matter what. Like if I solo something, I don't want that to still be soloed and not muted. I want to be able to essentially mute things as and when I want. So essentially, that is now at the basics. I've just realised the Focusrite probably won't work in because I'm in screen recording. Just for anybody, if you've picked that up before I did, kudos to you. But anyway, so essentially here's our setup. We've got our drums, we've got all of our different tracks. Now I'll go for tracking, plug in, I go down harmonic, which is usually where like all your amps and stuff are stored. I'm going to click Nolly because it is currently my favourite archetype, although Gojira has a lot of really cool amps on it as well. Go to whatever thing, I've got user, Noki T, there I am. Then I'm going to hold down option and then click and drag. So that, there you go, it's another cheat sheet there. If you hold down option, click on a plugin, you can drag it to wherever you want. Now, your session might not look like this either, I've just realised. So inserts A to E, inserts F to J, sends A to E, I-O. What do all of these things mean? If you don't care about this, skip forward a little bit. But anyway, so you click this bit up here, and this is how you can set out your session. Again, if you want your session to look exactly like this, pause this quickly, change your session, come back to it. But essentially, this gives you the option to like stack all your different plugins across 2 banks. It means you also don't have to go to this mix screen all the time. You can essentially do all your mixing from this edit screen at the level you're doing it now. Your send here as well, A to E, means that you can bus things. So one thing actually whilst I'm on it would be good is if I click, again, another hack, click the track. If you're about to add a track, click the track above where you want to add it. So for instance, instead of clicking, say I had drums highlighted and I go add new track, it's going to add the track here. I want to drag it to here, so for workflow, I click guitar right, go track, new, stereo, A or aux input, AUX input, aux input, creates this here. I'm then going to double click that, label it in capitals guitars, then I'm going to click guitar right, guitar left, hold shift and hold option to edit the two things at exactly the same time, click on the mono output, go to bus 1 2, find this one that says bus 1 2 stereo, then I'm going to go to guitars, click on the input here, go bus menu, bus 1 2. What we have just done there is bus standard audio tracks to an aux track. That is essentially it. Now, I do that for mixing levels, and I'll show you that later in the kind of mixing session, but for setting up your session, that's another good way of doing it. As you saw, the point I was making was, you click on guitar right, you go new track, the track sits where you want it to sit. I know that some of these things seem really trivial kind of things and little tips and tricks, but when you're setting up a session, you're trying to do it as quick as you can. Just having that kind of workflow come easier is just, it just helps. It helps the session, essentially. So I'm questioning why I'm telling you things now, but just in case you're on the other end going, why would I need to know that? Now you know. So essentially, that is it. Okay, cool. So we've got our session here. The only thing left to do is track something, I guess. So from here, I'm going to choose... Actually, do you know what? Let me get a guitar, and then let's see what we can come up with. Okay, we've reached the part of demoing where, or we've reached the part of the session where I need to be able to show you stuff, and I need to be able to hear, and you need to be able to hear me. So I'm going to go find a plugin, and then hopefully on the next video we can move on. But essentially we are up to a point now where you should kind of know the DAW, you should know how to set up your session ready to record and demo. Now we're about to demo, you can hit record and crack on. I'm going to go find out how you guys can hear me whilst recording on QuickTime. Then we will go from there, and I'll come in with another video. If you like this one, please share it to everybody, and drop a comment on what you liked, what you didn't like. I want the feedback. So if you didn't like certain things, or you needed clarity on certain things, or maybe I went too fast in areas, or too slow, or maybe not enough detail, or maybe too much detail, let me know, because like I said, this is going to be a series. Maybe this is episode 1. Maybe this one's going to be chopped up into 5 different episodes. Who knows? But essentially, this is going to be a series, and I want your feedback, because essentially I'm doing these videos for you. I've been requested to do these for quite a while. I'm doing them for you. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know if this was good. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.